the royal wedding,
National Health Service,
countryside, fish and chips,
Oxford University,
fish and chips, roast dinner, football and rugby,
tea, biscuits,
The Queen, Winston Churchill and Weeble.
fish and chips, London Eye and red telephone boxes.
Britishness,
Britain.
being British, Britishness, being British,
Being Britishness.
being British.
Hi, I'm Curtis Davis and I'm from Torquay.
Hi, my name's Andy Hussain and I'm from Birmingham. What do you think Britishness is about?
I don't know, like, when I first think about it, you know, it's tea, it's the red buses in London, it's the Big Ben, it's the Queen, you know, that sort of thing.
It's
but,
the Queen, definitely the red buses, I think.
but I'd say contemporary Britishness has changed.
Definitely, it's not all about cocaine anymore. It's about, you know, I think that's just a stereotype about Britishness, I think.
I'd say Britain is becoming a multicultural society with different values, different cultures coming in, and it is a completely different environment, different image. And I think that's something worth thinking about. And I think the image of Britishness from the traditional tea, coffee, you know what I'm saying? Tea,
Definitely.
cream teas, the scones. I think that's changing.
Especially nowadays with a multicultural society, such as Kiel today. You know, it's definitely, you can't define exactly what Britishness is anymore in a succinct sentence.
It is changing. Like the identity of Britishness with all the people coming in, all these new different characters from all over the world really. I think that's really changing what Britain is today.
Completely agree.
Hi, I'm Finn and I was born in Scotland, but I've lived in England for 21 years, since I was 3 years old. What it means to be British. I think there's an odd kind of, there are varying perceptions of what Britishness is, and it's very much tied up with Englishness as well. You know, the kind of the British identity is almost the same as the English identity, whereas in fact the Scottish identity or the Welsh identity or the Irish identity, which all are part of Britain of course, they're not the same as the British identity in the way that you might imagine. So Englishness, it kind of goes along with being with Britishness, and therefore by identifying yourself as, for example, Scottish, you might be making a statement about the fact that you're from Scotland and not England, and there's a distinction. Whereas if you just say British, people might just think you're from England. I mean, there are perhaps two kind of projections of what British stereotypes and what British culture's like, and I think they hail from different eras. I think the historical or the traditional kind of stereotype of Britishness is sort of the kind of imperial, classic, gentlemanly type, old-fashioned England, you know, where everybody's well-spoken and very well-mannered and they wear suits, and there's a very kind of classic gentlemanly figure that goes with the sense of Britishness. But I think the modern sense has changed from that, you know, particularly kind of the impression that I get from spending time with international people from outside of the UK, and the impression they get of English and British people is almost characterised by tourism and how British people on holiday act, and that actually has a very negative connotation that goes along with it. But you know, I mean, it's sort of along the same lines as football hooliganism and people getting drunk on holiday, and that kind of takes the sense of the classic Britishness of traditional gentlemanliness versus the modern Brit who goes and gets sunburned and drunk in foreign countries in the sun. So I think, I mean, there's very much a distinction between historical and modern kind of concepts of Britishness. And I think, you know, there is a certain stereotype of the stuffy English Britishman, which is certainly perpetuated by English comedies, including, you know, with Hugh Grant, who's always a bit of an awkward kind of stuffy character. And I think that certainly perpetuates a certain image of the British character in the kind of global international viewpoint. But how accurate it is, and you know, whether we find it in any way offensive, is quite different.
because Harry Potter is like my favorite story. Yeah, and I came to England because I love the story.
My name is Annabelle. I'm from Quebec in Canada, and I've been at Kiel since September. When I arrived, I think the best difference I could find out was the way the teaching is taught here. Here, it's basically you have little hours in class, whereas back home we're in class a lot. You have a lot of exams and homework to do, but here you have to do mainly readings and you have to do them by yourself. The teacher isn't really like as present as they would be in Canada, so you need to get a better feeling of like your time limit and you need to motivate yourself. Whereas back home everything is given, so you know what to do, when to do it. And another thing were the words they use. Some of the words I'm still struggling with, or just remembering to say them correctly, like football versus soccer and pants versus trousers. And just a learning thing. You just have to learn about them.
Thank you.